Hello and welcome to Reason News. President Cyril Ramaphosa has just delivered his 2025 State of the Nation address, setting the stage for a pivotal year in South Africa's democracy. With the nation celebrating 30 years of freedom and holding the historic G20 presidency, this SONA outlined bold plans to tackle unemployment, inequality, and corruption. Let's dive into the key highlights and what they mean for you. This year's theme, A Nation That Works for All, sets the stage for a crucial address that will shape South Africa's future. On February 6, 2025 at 7 p.m., both houses of parliament gathered for this historic joint sitting. This marks a significant moment for South Africa's democracy, bringing clarity to the nation's political, social, and economic direction. Over the next 3 years, the government will invest in roads, bridges, ports, airports, and water systems, with 375 billion rand from state-owned enterprises, SOEs. 12 projects worth 38 billion rand have been approved, targeting water, energy, transport, and student housing. And there's a revised public-private partnership regulations aim to unlock 100 billion rands in financing and expedite high-impact projects like the Mtentu Bridge and Polishlali Dam.
Government will spend more than 940 billion rand on infrastructure over the next 3 years. Now, this includes 375 billion rand in spending by state-owned enterprises. This funding will revitalize our roads and bridges. It will build dams and waterways. It will modernize our ports and airports and also power our economy. Through the infrastructure fund that we launched some time ago, 12 blended finance projects worth nearly 38 billion rand have been approved in the last year. These are projects in water and sanitation, student accommodation, transport, health, and energy as well. Construction of the Mtentu Bridge in the Eastern Cape, the construction continues. This bridge will rise above the river between Port Edward and Lusikisiki and will become the tallest bridge in Africa. The Podihadi Dam in Lesotho will feed 490 million cubic liters of water a year from the Lesotho highlands into the Vaal River system, securing water supply to several provinces for years to come. Working with international partners, we are revitalizing small harbors, unlocking economic opportunities for coastal communities. We're also looking very closely at the harbor that we will build in the Northern Cape, in Bochubai, because that is going to be a game changer for the Northern Cape. We are steadily removing the obstacles to meaningful and faster growth. The economic reforms that we are implementing through Operation Vulindlela have created a new sense of optimism and confidence in our economy.
He went on to say that there will be a SOE reform unit, which is a dedicated unit that will oversee the restructuring of Eskom, Transnet, and other entities to improve operational efficiency and financial sustainability. Over 300 days without load shedding since March 2024, though recent outages highlight ongoing challenges, the Electricity Regulation Amendment Act aims to stabilize supply through private investments.
We continue with the fundamental reform of our state-owned enterprises to ensure that they can effectively fulfill their social and economic mandates. Now, this includes the work underway to put in place a new model to strengthen governance and oversight of our public entities. We will ensure public ownership of strategic infrastructure for public benefit while finding innovative ways to attract private investment, to improve services, and to ensure public revenue can be focused on the provision of public services. We are in the process of establishing a dedicated SOE reform unit to coordinate this work. The measures we have implemented through the Energy Action Plan have reduced the severity and frequency of load shedding, with more than 300 days without load shedding since March 2024. Now, while the return of load shedding for 2 days last week was a reminder that our energy supply is still constrained, we remain on a very positive trajectory, whether people like it or not. We now need to put the risk of load shedding behind us once and for all. And the Minister of Electricity will speak about it in about 2 weeks or so when he presents to Parliament. We need to put that once and for all behind us by completing the reform of our energy system to ensure long-term energy security. The Electricity Regulation Amendment Act, which came into effect on the 1st of January, marks the beginning of a new era in our energy architecture. This year, we will put in place the building blocks of a competitive electricity market. Over time, this will allow multiple electricity generation entities to emerge and to compete.
With regards to youth employment, businesses are urged to use the SA Youth Mobi platform, where 4.5 million young people are registered. The presidential employment stimulus has created 2.2 million work opportunities. A 20 billion rand annual transformation fund will support Black-owned and small businesses, while the National Skills Fund Disabilities Program will train 10,000 people with disabilities.
Our focus is on empowering our people, on empowering women and persons with disabilities, because they were deliberately excluded from playing a role in the economy of their own country. And we will set up a transformation fund worth 20 billion rand a year over the next 5 years to fund Black-owned and small business enterprises. We will fast-track the regulations of the Public Procurement Act to ensure that businesses that are owned by women, by young people, and persons with disabilities receive equitable opportunities in government contracts. And we have started and will continue to train women entrepreneurs to enable them to compete for government tenders. In November last year, we launched the National Skills Fund Disabilities Program. In its first phase, this transformative initiative will empower over 10,000 persons with disabilities through tailoring training for them. The employment stimulus that we introduced during the COVID period has created almost 2.2 million work and livelihood opportunities through innovative models that provide high-quality work to participants. The Social Employment Fund has created over 80,000 jobs this year. It has supported more than 12,000 participants to enter entrepreneurial activities. During the past year, young people secured 235,000 work opportunities through the National Pathway Management Network. And this is underpinned by the SA Youth Mobi platform.
In Operation Vulindlela, reforms in energy, logistics and visa systems aim to reduce red tape and attract investment. An electronic travel authorization system will streamline tourism and skilled migration. A modernized industrial policy will focus on green manufacturing, renewables, electric vehicles and digital services to position South Africa as a leader in future industries. Ramaphosa highlighted the critical importance of education and skills development for South Africa's future. He stated that education is the foundation upon which we build a skilled, inclusive and prosperous South Africa. This year, we commit to a system that bridges opportunity gaps, empowers youth and aligns with the needs of our evolving economy by formalizing 15,000 ECD centers nationwide, tripling artisan production through TVET colleges, blending classroom and learning with apprenticeships, and continuing NSFAS reforms. The vision is clear: education must be both a social equalizer and an economic accelerant, preparing youth not just for jobs but for tomorrow's industries. In addition, he stated that the Bella Act isn't just a policy, it's a commitment to every South African child. It empowers school governing bodies while ensuring accountability, striking a balance between local management and national standards.
Now, 87% of learners who sat for their matric exams passed. For the first time in the history of our country, nearly half of these learners achieved bachelor pass. Nothing can diminish, frankly, nothing can diminish our pride in the hard work of these learners and the steady support of their teachers, parents and broader community. And let us give them a big round of applause. We should all be proud of the class of 2024. But our immediate focus is to expand access to early childhood development for every child. Now this will be achieved through registering and formalizing existing ECD centers and ensuring that they have the facilities, the training and material that they need to provide quality learning. We will focus on ensuring that every child can read for meaning in the foundation phase to set them up for success in later years. To achieve this, we are implementing mother tongue-based bilingual education. We do this to improve literacy and numeracy, and rolling out lessons plans, reading books, and other interventions that have been proven to work. The Funza Rushaka bursary scheme will continue to prioritize students who want to pursue a teaching career in the foundation phase. Last year, we signed the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, which was passed by this Parliament. Now, this act is pivotal for ensuring that education is accessible and is inclusive for all South Africans. This year, the Minister of Basic Education will introduce national policy, the norms and the standards and regulations to empower all partners in the basic education field to support the implementation of the Act. Now, to ensure that the economy has the skills that it needs, we are increasing the production of artisans through TVET colleges. Now, this is part of the shift we are undertaking towards education and skills development that combines formal learning with job training. Now, drawing on the models that have proven to be so successful in other countries, we're calling on the private sector to offer young people experiential learning opportunities while they undertake their studies. We are implementing phase 1 of the comprehensive student funding model for higher education to address the needs of the missing middle. This will support approximately 10,000 students in the first year.
Ramaphosa's educational roadmap, anchored by reforms like the Bella Act, represents a holistic approach to learning and skill development. From early childhood to higher education and vocational training, the focus is on creating an inclusive, quality-driven system. The strategy aims to equip South Africans not just for current job markets, but for the evolving demands of a global, technology-driven economy. President Ramaphosa outlined a transformative healthcare vision focused on equity, infrastructure, and systemic reform. He went on by stating the NHI will dismantle the apartheid-era inequities entrenched in our healthcare system. This year, they will begin critical preparatory work with a unified digital health record to streamline patient care, accreditation standards ensuring all providers meet quality benchmarks, and essential service packages covering HIV and TB treatment, maternal care, and chronic diseases. Healthcare facilities will be revitalized, such as the Limpopo Central Hospital and Siloam District Hospital in Limpopo, the Shlabeng Regional Hospital in Free State, and the Zitulele District Hospital in Eastern Cape.
We want a nation in which there is quality healthcare for all. This year, we will proceed with the preparatory work for the establishment of the National Health Insurance. Now, this includes developing the first phase of a single electronic health record system, the preparatory work to establish the ministerial advisory committees on the health technologies and healthcare benefits, and an accreditation framework for health service providers. The NHI will reduce inequalities in healthcare by ensuring that everyone gets fair medical treatment.
President Cyril Ramaphosa positioned South Africa as a principled global actor committed to multilateralism, African solidarity, and strategic diplomacy. He stated, in a world of shifting alliances and rising tensions, South Africa stands firm, a voice for peace, justice, and equitable development. Our foreign policy remains rooted in human rights, African unity, and the belief that no nation should dictate another's destiny. Ramaphosa's approach balances idealistic commitments with hard-nosed economic diplomacy. By positioning South Africa as both African champion and global South Bridge builder, the strategy aims to secure investment while advancing systemic change. He emphasized a renewed focus on government efficiency, aiming to streamline operations, enhance service delivery, and combat corruption. Ramaphosa's vision for a more efficient, transparent, and responsive government highlights key initiatives across digital transformation, public service reform, anti-corruption efforts, intergovernmental coordination, and performance monitoring. Government efficiency is not just an administrative goal, but a fundamental aspect of strengthening democracy and public trust in South Africa. Now, South Africa's G20 presidency, as a historic opportunity to reshape global governance, amplifies African priorities and champion for the global South. Ramaphosa said, "For the first time in history, the G20 summit will be hosted on African soil. This is our moment to ensure global decisions reflect African realities and forge a world where solidarity trumps division."
For the first time in its history, the G20 is being hosted on the African continent. And this is particularly important following the admission of the African Union as a member of the G20. It is a great opportunity for us to place the needs of our continent and the rest of the global South more firmly on the international development agenda. Our G20 presidency is a valuable opportunity for South Africa to advance efforts towards greater global economic growth and sustainable development. Africa remains at the center of our foreign policy.
Now, the president's address acknowledged the challenges facing the nation, but struck a tone of cautious optimism. He emphasized that success would require collaboration between government, the private sector, and civil society. The vision presented is one of a South African that is more equitable, economically vibrant, and globally competitive. As the country approaches its fourth decade of democracy, the State of the Nation address set forth a roadmap for addressing long-standing issues while preparing for future challenges. The coming years will be crucial in determining whether these ambitious plans can translate into tangible improvements in the lives of all South Africans. The success of these initiatives will depend on effective implementation, sustained political will, and the active participation of all citizens in building the South Africa envisioned in this address. Thank you for watching Reason News. That is all we have for you today. We have uncovered the highlights of the SONA Address 2025, and we'll be back with more content, more news for you. Until then, stay informed, stay updated, and stay curious.